Former NBL star Eric Bailey is known to sports fans around the world as one of the most determined competitors on the basketball court. A player who carried his teams to victory against overwhelming odds, and a man who, through sheer determination, made it to the top in one of the toughest arenas. What they may not know is how close Eric came to never making it at all. Growing up on the mean streets of South Central Los Angeles, every day the young Californian saw racism, gang violence, drugs and poverty. At school, he battled an education system which didn't care if he, like more than half his fellow students, would never graduate. Even worse, diagnosed with a devastating bone disease and with no access to decent medical services, his future was looking bleak. But where most people would give up, Eric had other ideas. At 14, against incredible odds, he began to plan his future. Sure, he wanted to be the best sportsman he could be, but he also wanted to lay the foundation for the rest of his life.
I get asked really about what motivated me to continue to keep going even though the times were tough. And my simple answer was, I did not want to be normal. I didn't want to have a normal job. I didn't want to have a normal existence. I didn't want to have a normal life. I wanted to be extraordinary. And in order to be extraordinary, I had to push myself each and every day. And that's why I'm here right now.
Training every morning, studying every day, Eric made it onto his high school basketball team and took them to their first and only state championship. He also won a college scholarship, and his dream was underway.
No one can take away your dream. If you believe in yourself, and it's something you want bad enough, you have to go out and get it yourself. It's not up to your brother, it's not up to your mother, it's not up to your teachers, it's not up to society, it's up to you.
There were setbacks along the way. At one point, Eric was told he couldn't play, but nothing was going to hold him back.
I had a coach who basically didn't like me, who said I was no good, couldn't jump, couldn't run, gave me an opportunity to play. I played an awesome game, and then he fired me afterwards. That hurts. That's a scar in my core. But I think of all the great things that have happened since that day, and I get over it pretty quick.
A star in the US and Australia, Eric had finally made his dream come true. For the first time in his life, he could relax, just a little. He even found time to indulge himself and bought the one thing he had never been able to buy as a child: some new shoes.
When I was younger, I only had 2 pairs of shoes, one for church, one for school. And I wanted shoes so bad, but because we couldn't afford it, that was it. So when I started playing professional basketball into the real world and making a little money, I just thought, right, I'm not going to buy drugs, I'm not going to buy cigarettes, I'm not going to spend it on gambling, I'm going to buy shoes. And my favorite pair, I got a pair of orange shoes that matches my orange shirt. Let me tell you, for these shoes, they get on stage and they say, we will do anything for those shoes.
Now, with a successful sporting career behind him, Eric has another goal: to let Australian students learn from his life, to appreciate the advantages he never had, and to make the most of their extraordinary gifts.
There's only probably one main message that I want each and every student to take home from me, and that is, no matter what the obstacles, no matter what challenges that face each student, take those challenges, take those obstacles, and use them for your advantage.
Through Step to the Future, Eric has met hundreds of students and passed on his message. Sometimes it's been a very personal experience.
I had difficulties learning to read. I was 14 years of age when I first read my first book, and I tell my story to the students, and very often, students can identify with learning problems. But in Adelaide, there was an African girl who's been in Australia for 6 or 7 years, and she asked a question, and she wanted to come down on stage, and she actually just said, look, I know what it's like, not to be able to read.
And this really hard for me. Yeah, I like singing and dancing, but I really want to help it. I really want to help, but there is a situation in my life. In the world today, if you can read and write, you can do anything that you really want to do. But today, hearing your story made me to believe that I can really do what I want to do in life.
Let's give her a hand.
As a speaker, that was the highlight of my whole year hearing her say that.
Other times, it's been a shared moment with hundreds involved.
I think it was about 1,500 students there, and I came down the center aisle, and everyone got up, and I had a basketball in my hand, and I walked down the middle aisle, and there was this lady sitting sort of on the end, and I tell everybody to clap, and she was a little bit hesitant, and just spontaneous, I just grabbed her arm and pulled her in the aisle, and she started dancing, and her hair was like flowing from side to side, and I looked at her, and I was like, yeah, you all right? She was, oh, thank you. Like, she was like on fire, right? And that energy that I got from her, I took it to the stage, and for the next 45 minutes, it was just action-packed. You know, kids were laughing. I saw teachers going for the tissue boxes. They were giving each other hugs. It was just unbelievable, and I never, ever, ever will forget the feeling that I got that day.
But whether he's going one-on-one with a single student or dancing with the crowd, Eric's message is always the same.
Over the past 3 or 4 years, I've started speaking in corporate environments, and I do enjoy that immensely. It's a challenge, but at the end of the day, I would like for it to come a time in my life when Step to the Future basically will be a full-time thing for me. I would rather get in front of a group of 500 students and tell them about my life and inspire and motivate and activate them than to do any other thing. I shot 3-point shots, I signed autographs, I played basketball for 16 years, you know, I traveled, and that was great. But when I get on stage and I can see lives being changed, I can see attitudes being changed, for me, that's the greatest gift of all.
It doesn't matter about your color of your skin, your religion, your race, where you live. Only thing that matters is what you have in your heart and what you are prepared to do to ignite the burning energy that you have inside to succeed in life. I went from poverty to playing in the NBA, and I did it because my #1 priority in life was believing in myself and following my dreams. Thank you very much.